Start transmission. 4, 3, 2, 1. Broadcasting to you live from the Static Clan compound, you are now listening to the Jaysin Static Experience, a podcast from an award-winning nobody, noted raconteur, Renaissance man, a man with a sailor's mouth, but he has never sailed, and who likes to talk about a cornucopia of topics. This podcast is brought to you by www.jaysinstatic.com, a place filled with all your pop culture, antiques, and collectible needs. And now your host, the one and only Jaysin Static. Welcome back, everybody. Jaysin Static with another episode of the Jaysin Static Experience. And today, my friends, I have a treat for you. A treat, like I always say, a mother frickin' treat. I have none other. If you guys have followed this podcast or live streams for any length of time, you might have seen them on a couple of them back in the early days. But if you don't know and you haven't been following me for that long, that's your problem, and you need to go check out my shit, okay? Because I'm getting tired of telling y'all to check my shit out, because you motherfuckers need to start checking my shit out. But anyways, back to the guest. None other than the farmer. The farmer, what do you see? What do you mean farmer? The farmer, Billy Hills, my old friend, my old chum, one badass man. He does what he does, he speaks how he speaks, and he says what he says. Huh, interesting, because that's exactly how I am. Anyways, now, without further ado, Mr. Billy Hills, Farmer Billy Hills, how you doing, my brother? Welcome to the show.
I'm doing really good after that intro. Oh yeah, doing real good, buddy. How are you?
Oh man, I'm doing good. Like I said before we hit that start button, I got a belly full of food. I took my mom out to dinner because she's in town for a couple more days, and other than that, man, I'm doing good. Back on the podcast with another episode, and this time I'm finally talking to Billy Hills after he canceled on me a couple weeks ago. He canceled on me a couple weeks ago. We will get into that. We will get into that on why he canceled on me, because I'm pretty sure there's been a couple people that wanted me to talk about it, because I left a message on the Thumbs Down group. If you're not following the Thumbs Down group on Facebook, you are missing out. It is a treat. But matter of fact, let me turn this Thumbs Down crew off, because they're going crazy right now. Better turn that off, or you're just going to be hearing ding ding da ding da ding da ding. But Billy Hills, for those who haven't followed you and those who don't know you, and for new people that may see this show, give a brief primer who the hell Billy Hills is.
Of course. I am a local semi-retired professional wrestler based out of Ann, Illinois, of course. Not too far from you. I think, just a couple hours away, I think. So
I'm Southern Missouri.
We know each other. We cross paths north, south, east, and west of each other. We've crossed paths, and I've known you, 10 plus years now.
Probably.
We've known each other. It's been a good long while.
I started working over in what was that one company that we?
The very first show that I met you on, it was HCW. It was Will Dixon.
Was that one that was in the barn?
Yep.
Yeah, I remember. Ricochet was there.
Yep, he was.
Ricochet was there. I remember that.
Yep, he was.
Oh yeah, that was a long time ago.
I don't think he went by Ricochet on that one. I don't think he wanted to.
Yeah.
I think he was what was his mask gimmick before Lucha Underground? He was back.
Hell, I don't know. I don't remember.
I mean, he only did it for a little bit before he changed his name to what we know him as now. So not that big of a deal. But that was one of the first times that you and I had met, and I mean, we hit it off just immediately, and we just been running ever since.
Yeah.
But you kind of explained who I am. I'm a dude who, I speak my mind and don't keep my mouth shut too often about much of anything. If anything, I don't sift through Facebook and pass by much. I don't mind speaking my mind on things that I feel very strongly about. which is, one of the things that, I canceled on you a couple weeks ago about, which was due to something that, I felt very strongly about.
Right.
But that's always been one of the reasons why you and I get along, is because we speak on those things. It's not anything that we hide from any means. And I think that's why, even with you still being out of wrestling and everything, you're just still people that know you personally.
Yeah.
They like and respect you for it, just like, I think most people do about me too. Because whenever people talk to us, they genuinely know how we feel about stuff, because we don't hold anything back from them. We tell them exactly what's on our mind. We tell them exactly what we're thinking right there in that moment, so they know how we feel.
I've always told people that's one of my good and bad qualities, because sometimes it rubs people extremely the wrong way.
Yeah, because they're not ready for it.
Yeah, because they're not ready for it. Mm-hmm. And I've learned in my years of just conversating with people, I've learned that there's certain ways that you can talk and you should talk. It's not like I'm not speaking my mind. Like, I'm still speaking my mind. I'm just not, like, essentially, like, say, like, in wrestling they use, turn it up to 11.
Yeah.
Where some people I might only keep it on 7. Other people I'll turn it up to 11 on. And that's the way that I dictate and navigate through the social media sphere, because some people can't take some of the shit that I say. Like right now, one of the reasons why I had to turn off the Facebook is because somebody's arguing with me because they didn't like what I said. Because, like I essentially said, I'll get into it. I don't remember exactly word for word what I said. I said something about how the left right now, the left side of the spectrum is complaining and telling people to wear your fucking mask. It's just a mask. Just fucking do it. Just follow the rules.
Yeah.
And then
I remember seeing them too.
Well, at the same time, they're saying I want the police and everybody to enforce these mask laws onto other people. Yeah. And then on that flip side, I also think it's absolutely funny that the right hand side is they're like, oh, fuck these masks. I'm gonna do what I got. I'm gonna do what I want to do. Da 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 da. Fuck that rule. And it's just like, well, aren't you guys the same people that say just follow the rules?
Mm-hmm.
And I said it's both sides are so fucking hypocritical in the way that they move. And then the guy's mad because I was talking about the right side, and I was just like, hey, I think you're both fucking weirdos.
Yeah, 100%. Like,
granted, I have ideas from both sides. So
and see that's another thing that we get along with so well, is we're not just one side of the spectrum. We try and look at both before we make any kind of judgment. And we try and get our facts, and we try and get accurate facts on these things that we speak about. And for me personally, like, as far as a mask goes, okay, if you tell me before I go into your establishment to wear a mask, I'm going to wear one. If you don't tell me I have to, I'm probably not going to. Yeah. I'm going to have it on me. And if I see enough people wearing one, I'll probably go ahead and throw mine on. But it's not going to just be a thing that I just do because I'm just not, I haven't programmed myself to do it during all of this. Yeah. Because the way that my personal life works, I never have to leave my house for anything, ever. I don't. Like, I can pay all my bills online. I can order anything I need online and have it shipped to me. Mm-hmm. So I never have to leave my home. Yeah. So during all this COVID stuff with everybody being locked in, it's just another day for me.
Right.
It hasn't affected me at all. So with me pretty much never having to like leave my house or anything, I've not programmed myself like a bunch of others to just carry it on me 24/7 and wear it 24/7 even.
Yeah.
For some. So I have to literally, I can send you a photo of it. I have my mask hanging up where I hang my keys just so I don't forget it. Right. Because that's how unprogrammed I am to even think about it. So I always have it on me, and I eventually put it in my pocket whenever I'm leaving. And if I see you have a sign up that asks me to put it on, then I will. But if you don't, 9 times out of 10, I'm probably not, because I'm just not even thinking about it. I'm only thinking about what I'm there to do, what I'm there to get. That's kind of like my thing about it. I understand both sides where people are like, I just can't, wear it because of this, and this. Then I understand the ones that are like, please wear it to, save lives, et cetera, et cetera. Like, I understand, both sides of it. But on the grand scheme of it all, is you can't be upset at these businesses that are enforcing it. Well, I can't necessarily say the businesses. I should probably mean more so the essential workers. They are the ones that we shouldn't really be mad at and project our anger onto, because they're just doing what they're told.
Yeah.
And I should be more specific on that one. So, because I see so much of that going on, and that of course, that sucks for those people, because they're just doing what they're asked to do. So it's rough.
Well, me, like I see what you're saying, but like me, like I just don't like the force aspect. You know what I mean? And there's a lot of people saying, I've scrolled through Facebook over the course of the last couple of months and just seeing, just fucking do it. Just fucking do it. It's not going to fucking hurt you. Do it. And then I got into a big Twitter beef, not me personally, but one of the guys that I follow on YouTube, so I kind of roll in and out of his crew, so he got into a big Twitter beef with Ninja. Do you know who Ninja is?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the gamer. Yeah, the gamer dude, blue-haired guy. Well,
him.
So he had a post a couple weeks back talking about non-maskers. That was his words, was non-maskers. Okay. And I don't remember verbatim exactly word for word what he said, but he said something about, I just wish the non-maskers would essentially just fall in line and do as they're told type stuff. And that, the government, both state, local, and federal, need to start cracking down on them. So the guy that I would follow is a dude named Eric July, hardcore libertarian, doesn't, like people forcing him to do anything that he doesn't want to do. I'm of that ilk too. Like, don't tell me what I've got to do. I am in a free fucking nation. I can do as I please. If I want to put on a mask, I will put on a mask. And that's literally the basis of what he was saying. So I've been in big Twitter beefs with people. Yeah. So I'm in with it, just typing away, keyboard warrioring it up with them. And so I've had a lot of conversations with people and wars with people over the whole mask, non-mask thing. Right. And like, me personally, I don't care if people wear them. I don't care if business isn't tell people they have to do it. I don't care. You can do as you please as a person and or as a business. A business can do as they please. I have no problem with that. Will I go into that business? It depends on how much I need that thing. If I don't need that thing, like I was on my way back from St. Louis today. For the folks who don't know, I'm in Missouri, just south of St. Louis. I was up in St. Louis today. And on my way home, the person I was riding with, they go, "Do you want to go to Walmart?" I go, "No, I don't have anything I need in Walmart." And that's just because I didn't need anything, so I don't want to go there. I don't want to I just don't want to spend money. They needed to go. I go, "You can go if you want to, but I don't want to." Yeah, mainly like I hang on the car. Mainly because it's the whole mask thing. I don't want to be forced to do anything. I'm cool with other people doing it. I just don't want to be forced to it. And the clowns out there in the ether on social media land, telling people that are thinking that people need to be cracked down on. I just think that's a little bit too far for me. It gets into that borderline authoritarian where my problem is because the goalpost always moves. It'll be, okay, you're wearing a mask this time. You're just wearing your fucking mask because it's just a mask. Okay, what if the government comes out and says, well, hey, you got to wear a hazmat suit now? Is everybody going to be walking around in hazmat suits? That's an extreme, but as we know, the government does like to push its extremes. Mm-hmm. If
our governor and everything, Pritzker here, he refused to open anything here in Illinois at all up until we were at a certain, I think it's like a 5-phase ordeal with him that he kind of, conglomerated up.
Yeah.
And I mean, we hit phase 4. So that means things can open back up as far as Illinois goes, which, for the most part it has. And of course, some businesses or indoor corporations or whatever are still requiring people, to wear masks as they come in. But, most are going, back to business as usual.
Yeah.
And one thing that people doesn't understand about his 5th phase is we will never get there because he wants this COVID-19 eradicated.
Yeah, that's not possible.
And it's never going to happen. Yeah. This is the new flu.
Yeah.
We're going to create something to contain it like the flu, to get rid of it for whatever time being, but it's never going to go away.
Yeah.
It's just not. This is welcome to the new flu COVID-19. Fuck off, because you're running back this year.
COVID 1984, as I call it.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
I think the whole thing around COVID is just been, if you take the sides out of it and you look at it for what it is, it's a virus. Yes, it kills. Yes, it's killed people. That's something that I've never denied. It's killed people. Yes, it has. But what's also happened is the overstepping of both local, federal, and state governments. They've done some dumb stuff.
Some have, absolutely.
Some have, some haven't, and that goes back to the force. I don't think, like my town, the town I live in, we've had to date, as far as I don't know the current numbers as of this week, but as of like last week and a half ago, we had 22 cases in a town.
We had in my area
about 22. In our town, they didn't have a lockdown or anything like that. Just the townspeople, they was just like most of the restaurants in town. They're like, there was no mandate in my town. My town was just like, okay, do as you please, just be mindful. Essentially, most of the restaurants in town, they all know each other. All the owners know each other, and they all work with each other. So they're like, okay, well, we're going to do this. What do you think? You think we should do this type stuff? So 90% of I would say maybe even more than 90%, almost all of the restaurants in town went to takeout only, and that was just, I think if the government gave people, didn't necessarily and essentially force people, I think for the most part, people would be like, okay, I can understand it. I'll do that. It's the fact that where you're seeing all the pushback from, no matter what side it is, that pushback is because it's coming from force. They're saying, you do this or else. Yeah. And it's just like, what do you mean by else? If I don't listen to you, what are you going to do to me? Are you going to throw me in jail? Are you going to fine me? Are you going to beat me up? That gets into the other thing that we can mention, like, because that's the way it goes. Like when all this stuff first started happening, I told people, I don't like the idea. Like, I was one of the people that got, I got laid off from my job. I work in the restaurant industry. And then I literally had people tell me that you are not important right now. You are not essential for any, you're not essential. So you just stay in your fucking house until we say you can come out. And it's just like, what? Like, I had somebody tell me that. I had somebody call me a fucking monster because I because I go to the post office and mail packages. You just want millions of people to die. You're a fucking monster.
How old were they? 14?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying.
A 13 or 14-year-old would say.
But that's the mindset of the push of that authoritarian nature. It's, you do this or I'm going to do something to you. And that's where where I think all that pushback is coming from is because, no, we have rights in this country. And my mode of thinking is everybody is essential. Yeah. Like, my job, it's essential for me to live. If I don't do my job and I don't work, I can't eat, which means I don't have a place to live. I can't provide for myself. Luckily, it's just me. I don't have kids or anything like that. But think of those 40 million plus people that essentially got told, go home. Your life ain't important right now. Screw your kids, screw your life, screw your family. We need to worry about this right now. And I to me, coming from the way that I think, I'm just like, nah, like, that's not right. Like, you can't just tell people they're not important. Yeah. Because they don't. And then you have like small mom and pop shops. Small mom and pop shops, they sell the exact same things that all these big retail box stores that got deemed essential. They sell all these same things. And when when they started pushing back on it, guess what all these big boxes did? They blocked all those things off and said, no, you can't shop those. And it's just like, what fucking world are we living in, y'all? What fucking world are we living in where and all of that came down from government, whether it be local, federal, or state. And me personally, I can't take that was my only problem with it, is the amount of force. Is, people getting arrested. Like, you hear about the fucking the paddle boarder out in California, out in the middle of the ocean by himself, not bothering anybody, around nobody, and the fucking cops arrest him for it. And it's just like, what? For being on a fucking paddleboard? You're fucking losing your mind.
And see, that goes back to, like you're saying, I mean, some places took it to an extreme.
Yeah.
You know, my town here, I think they had, for like maybe a week, they had put a curfew type thing in, but it wasn't enforced.
Yeah.
Because there was still businesses like Walmart, gas stations, and others still open. So there really wasn't, you know, a curfew. But they're like, hey, if we catch you out here after this time and you're literally just fucking, then we're going to see your ass packing the fuck home.
Yeah.
That was probably the worst that my town had it.
Yeah.
And like I said, that lasted like a week, and then they just like, you know, just do whatever the business says to do and go on about your life.
Yeah.
That's kind of how my town has been.
Yeah, I mean, and that's, it's not me. Like, I'm not trying to demean anybody, but like, I think if most places wouldn't have jumped the gun, I think you wouldn't see the amount of pushback. They wouldn't have seen all the pushback. If they would have just been like, hey guys, you know, pandemic, blah, blah, blah type stuff, you know, think about doing this, you know, because there's plenty of countries across the world that did that. There, I want to say, maybe, I think it was Denmark. I think it was, maybe they was just like, hey guys, maybe we should, we're not going to do anything. We're essentially, it was more of a, hey, you can do this if you want to. Just be very mindful because of the pandemic type stuff. They didn't. I think it was Denmark. I might be wrong about that.
I know what you're talking about because I read the exact same thing. And to put something else into perspective with what you're talking about with that particular country, be it Denmark, Poland, whichever one it was, because I was thinking of Poland myself.
Yeah,
but
it was one of those countries.
I don't think they have the same media that we do.
Right.
Because you and I can both agree that the media is really what I feel blew this into proportions it didn't need to go to.
Oh, yeah.
It needed to be taken seriously, but media is going to be media. So they're going to take it from this to this in about 45 seconds.
Oh, yeah.
And that's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
Because as soon as one person stepped off that cruise ship of those 60 some odd people that was stuck on it for 30 some odd days or whatever.
Yeah.
As soon as that first person stepped onto land, within 45 seconds, they were saying that somebody had it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Of course, somebody had it. The people on the damn cruise ship had it.
Yeah.
Those other countries don't have that like we do, where we take an inch and we go a mile.
Yeah.
Because we unfortunately have that ability in the palm of our hands to do. And it is taken to the most extremes daily. Yeah. Like you were talking about with the guy, that's coming after you right now or whatever with, on your deal, and how I've had people come at me for some of, my Black Lives Matter stuff.
Yeah.
People go here to here in just seconds. Oh, yeah. That's exactly what's happened with this. If we had to just listen to the proper channels and taken this step by step by step by step as the information rolled in, instead of just going to immediate shutdown, we wouldn't be where we are right now.
Yeah.
With a whole lot of stuff that's going on in this country.
Yeah.
But that's not how we think anymore.
Yeah, unfortunately. Yeah, what are you going to do?
Not much, we can do besides what we're doing right now, which is just having a conversation about it.
And that's one thing I've liked to do. One of the reasons why I switched it up of doing what I'm doing now on the podcast, of being, instead of having an audience watching and stuff like that, to dial in more with people, because I think, and it's one of the things that I do with the Thumbs Down Crew group on Facebook, is there's so much of so much hostility and vitriol and contention and in this world. And me coming from have been on both, seeing that I've been on both sides of the aisle. Like I in my younger days, I was a little bit more on the liberal side. Even though I didn't really understand what it was, in my 20s, in the late 20s and late 20s, I was more, more conservative, hardline conservative, stuff like that. So I've seen both sides of the aisle, and I know how both sides of the aisle work.
Yeah.
And essentially, like, I guess you could say my coming out of realizing of, the whole system is flawed and fucked up. It is back in like it was around 2010 when the whole Edward Snowden shit happened. I've talked about it a whole lot. That was really where I started diving deeper into things and not taking everything that I see come in front of me at face value. Since you mentioned it, even the Black Lives Matter thing, like that's another thing. Yeah. I don't take it at face value because there is two different aspects of it. There's two different aspects of it. There's the organization that I don't agree with at all. Because the original founders of Black Lives Matter, the organization, they are trained Marxists. They've come out and said it. I vehemently oppose Marxism and communism and stuff like that. And just a lot of the structure that they have, the breakdown of the nuclear family, you could go down the laundry list of stuff. Now, the actual movement of saying, hey, Black lives do matter in this society. Yes, they do. And that's where people don't look to separate. They just see, they want to lump everything in.
Yeah.
They want to lump it one large lump, and they don't want to dissect it apart and look at it for what it is. Okay. Like there's two movements rolling underneath that same name.
Yeah.
And people need to essentially, they need to tread carefully because one aspect of it is extremely bad and the other one is not bad at all. Yeah.
And see, this goes back to what we were just talking about. What's that one aspect that we're seeing? Yeah. The one that can blow up in 45 seconds that goes from here to here. Yeah. And that's the organization and, the Antifa part of it. Yeah. Which I don't know if that's a, thing or not. I don't know. I've seen it. I've not looked into that. Can't speak on that. But I know as far as like the organization, as far as Black Lives Matter goes, and that's just
yeah. People get pretty hostile when people get really hostile, even at the mention of saying, "Nah, I don't agree with Black Lives Matter." And like I've been hammered at, oh, you're just a fucking racist. You're this and that. I'm like, nah, that's not what I'm saying. If you read my words properly, I said Black Lives Matter organization, not the actual movement. There's a movement that's cool, and I'm on board with that movement as long as that movement doesn't try to tie itself with the organization. And while you do have some aspects of the movement trying to funnel their way into that organization and use it as kind of like a buffer,
like a platform buffer,
that's where it gets hard to dissect it apart, and that's the big problem. And you see that on anything, whether it be the gun debates, hell, the COVID debates, Black Lives Matter debates, everything is just so volatile. Yeah. And one of the things that I've tried to do with this platform that I have now is to break down aspects and situations and thoughts from people to form a better understanding of everything. Like what is their mindset on this? Let me listen to you, let me understand it so I can better inform my opinions on things.
Yeah. And so for me, and we can go and we can dive into the reason why I canceled on you a couple weeks ago. For me, my stance on it has always been you are correct in saying that all lives matter. Mm-hmm. Anybody who says that you are correct. And we're not saying that Black lives are more important than any other life.
Right.
That's what Black Lives Matter, the movement, means.
Mm-hmm.
All we're trying to say with the Black Lives Matter movement is we're not meaning that much right now. Even the gay community still isn't. LGBTQ, they're not. Even I'm seeing some, even the Jewish community is getting it right now. Even some of the Irish communities, I seen that earlier today, are starting to get lumped into the Black Lives Matter part and attacked for some reason. And it's all because they don't agree that it should just be all lives matter, or it's the Antifa part just wanting to raise hell.
Mm-hmm.
Just to raise hell.
Yeah.
And all that the Black Lives Matter movement wants is to matter just as much as everybody else.
Right.
Because this is something that if you go back the last 5 years, and I mean, maybe even a couple years, even further, maybe 7 years, it's clear and present with the videos and everything that's out there, not talking news outlets, but just in general, that it's clear as glass, fresh off an assembly line, that all lives aren't mattering right now. Has there been deaths on the white, gay, Asian, etc.? Has there been deaths on that spectrum? Yes, there has. Has there been a lot? Yes, there has. But the true statistics of it all is a lot more towards the African American community, unfortunately, from law enforcement. And that's the sad part. Is it hundreds of thousands different? No. But it's still tens. I think the last statistic I looked at was 67,840 compared to white, Hispanic. It wasn't Asian, but I can't remember the other nationality as far as like American statistics, in 2020.
Yeah.
Just in 2020. And we're supposed to be on lockdown.
Yeah. Like I mentioned, I talked to a guy a couple weeks ago, Dewan O'Neill, and me and him had a conversation about, the police brutality aspect and stuff like that. And that's something that's something that I am against. Like, I'm not for, just unabridged power by law enforcement. I'm not for that. I think one thing that the Black Lives Matter movement does wrong is they essentially focus on the racism aspect of it, but they don't focus on the actual problem at hand. The problem at hand is the statism of it. There's two different things. Yes, there's racist people in this country. Yes, there is. They're fucking morons, by the way. And they only want to. As soon as something with a police happens to an African American, it always goes into the racism aspect, but they don't focus on the statism aspect. Cops,
change needs to be made.
That's where the change needs to be made. Granted, like, it's one thing, like you said a while ago with COVID, we're never going to get rid of it. It's always going to be here. The sad thing about all of this stuff is racists are going to be here. There's nothing that we can do about that unless we just decide to essentially have a Holocaust with them, But are you willing to kill everybody? If Eric July, a guy I follow a lot, black dude, he says it the best. He goes, I don't care if Billy Joe Bob over there is racist. I don't care, because what he says to me has no power or control over me. And that's something. And I looked at that and I'm like, man, that's kind of a good way to look at it. I'm gonna do me. Let this retard do him. And he goes, I like to see my racism. I like to visually see it. If Billy Joe Bob over there is racist and I see it and I know it, then I know it.
I ain't gotta fuck with him.
I ain't gotta fuck with him. But what happens is something that I've seen a lot especially over the course of the last month or so. especially in my neck of the woods, the southern Missouri area.
Yeah.
There's a little group of kids going around, 20 somethings, going around and protesting in all the small local towns. And what they do is, before their event that they have, is they like to go in to all of the town's social media pages and rile people up, by just, I'll use an example, because this is the biggest one that I've seen in my area. I'm not too far from Fredericktown, Missouri.
Right. Yeah. So
in their post on all of these, on the social media, in particular on Facebook, we're having a rally at Fredericktown, and instead of saying Fredericktown has a K in it, they'll put KKK in it, and then when somebody says, "Hey, what are you doing here?" they immediately call them racist, and it's just like, wait a second, like, could there be racist people in town? Yeah, there could be, but not everybody's like that. And that's another thing that I think is really bad, because that's where your hostilities come from.
Yeah.
And I'm in a lot of these groups, so I see it, and I've talked to a handful, and I'm like, hey, you say that you don't want the hostilities from somebody else or the counter protesters and stuff like that, but the way that you're moving is not conducive to what your message is. You're saying you want peace and you want justice and you want equality and everything like that, but when you go into these little towns and you're going into their social media platforms and you're labeling the whole entire town as bad and full of Nazis and racist and everything like that, and you expect people not to question you, you expect people, like me personally, I'm not going to be one of those people at the protest on either side. Like I have a friend that lives out in Fredericktown. And he goes, "Hey, come down if you're off work." And I was just like, well, if I come down there, like I'm going to be protesting both of you guys, because you're all a bunch of idiots to me. Because none of them actually focuses on the actual root cause of the actual problem that we have. And like I said, that's the statism. We have politicians that are in office. They've been in office and it's on all levels, state, local, federal, that they've been in office for 30, 40, 50, 60 years, and they've made all of these laws that allow police to do what they do. If you want things to change, not only do we have to change it on that level, we have to change it on a personal level too. Yeah. You have to be willing, no matter what side of the aisle you're on, whether you're black or white, gay or straight, you really have to take a look at yourself and be like, am I making my situation worse? Like me, I went on a big self-discovery aspect, and I realized in my life, a lot of the problems that I had in my life, those were all caused by me. It wasn't, and I had that mindset of, oh, it's the man keeping me down. It's this person keeping me down. It's, and I told DeJuan, I go, I've been roughed up by cops. I've been looked at sideways. I live in a small town, and growing up as a punk rock kid in a small town, I got eyeballed all the time. Did I get roughed up by cops? Yeah, it happens. But why is it allowed to happen? Because the politicians that make the laws that allow them to do it. We don't fix that. Yeah.
Here.
Yeah.
To here.
Yeah.
That's the biggest issue with the George Floyd part of this.
Oh yeah.
Is everybody has seen the whole video.
Mm-hmm.
The man was saying he couldn't breathe. He was handcuffed. He was on the ground. The gentleman, he didn't have to stay there on him like that.
Yeah.
That's where, like you said, you have to, even in that moment, he had to have heard that.
Yeah.
He had to have then been like, okay, let me just stand him up and just hold him over the front of the cop car.
Yeah.
Could have been that easy, and then we wouldn't be where we are right now.
Yeah.
It was that he took that little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, it's one of those things, like I said, where the guy that killed Floyd, I don't even know what his name is. I don't even remember. I don't even care. Like, the guy had 17 infractions on his jacket. like something should have been done about that. Why is it not done? Because, well, hey, he's in tight with the higher ups in society in that local area. That's the problem. It's not so much of a race problem. Do we have, like I said, is there probably racist cops? Yeah, there probably is.
Absolutely.
You know, but the problem, I think the Black Lives Matter movement would be better suited to be like, hey, this is a problem not just at the police level, but it's a problem at our state, local, and federal level of government, because they're the ones that make all these stupid rules and laws.
You know, there's only been one movement to do that.
What's that?
You know about that? You know, there's only been one of these to have done that, to actually make change. You know about that one? I believe it was Kentucky, where the Breonna Taylor one happened.
Oh yeah. Rand's pushing that.
Oh, it's through.
Oh, okay. They finally did pass it?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So there is literally a law now in her name.
Yeah. And see, that's good.
There has actually been, like you said, on that level where the change needs to be made, it was actually done. Only one.
Yeah.
That is just a small footnote on a much bigger scale where this needs to be.
Oh, yeah.
That small little law that's just in, a little Kentucky town or whatever it might be, needs to be looked at everywhere.
Oh, yeah. I agree.
Every state, every local municipality, everywhere needs to be looking at that on a much larger scale.
Yeah.
Because that's where I'm very torn on the defund police part, because to an extent, okay, I understand the defund part of it, because I don't know about you, but I don't think that my local law enforcement needs a tank, and they fucking have one.
Yeah.
I live in a town of 50,000 some odd people. Why?
Yeah. Now,
why do we need a tank here? That's what the National Guard 30 minutes up the road is for.
Yeah.
So there's no reason for that. So all that funding needs to go to my school, where some of these kids can't eat. But my school still feeds these kids, because they're not going to let a kid starve.
Right. I think you'd be better suited to like, I understand, like, I don't think police should be, militarized and tanks and stuff like that. I don't have, that's not one thing that I'm for either.
They should have their body armor, and they should have their police cams. 100%.
But I don't think that they should be defunded. I think that they need to put funding where it needs to be. Better educated. Maybe put some of that funding into hand-to-hand combat. Maybe better de-escalation processes. And I know it's hard. It's hard to deal with an unruly person. But I think that's where
police officers just don't know.
Yeah.
It's like something that I seen a guy. It was just kind of been scrolling earlier. A gentleman was like, if a police officer tells you to put your hands up, yeah, just listen, just put them up, because if he sees you going for something, that's probably, unfortunately, not going to end well for you, because he thinks you're going for a gun and you're going to shoot him in the head where he doesn't have protection.
Yeah.
That's the sad part about, what goes on in the police officer's mind, because they only had that split second to protect themselves.
Yeah.
Even if that's not the case and that's not what you're doing, they still unfortunately have to think that way. But there's nothing in their training. But of course, I've never been through it, so I don't know. But like we just said, I don't think that there's any kind of training to de-escalate from that big of a scale of shit, I'm going to have to kill this guy, down to, oh, maybe I need to just get a stun gun or something, maybe.
Yeah.
I think they only go to that one extreme, and then they have to stay there. Yeah. They're not doing anything less than that.
Yeah.
And that's a part of just how police, I believe, training just has been forever.
Yeah.
I think it's the manual, and they don't divert from said manual.
Yeah.
that's fine and good, but it's not working anymore. Too many innocent people are dying over a fake 20 that a guy didn't even know was fake.
Right. Well, I mean, I mean, it's one of those things. It's just like, what do you really do? You know, like, but I don't think defunding. I think if anything, they need more funding. They just need to allocate it in the right spot. You know, I think there's a lot of martial arts out there that's you know, that's able to be taught, that, you know, where, you know, essentially where you can render people inoperable, essentially, I guess you could say. And you don't have to use the extreme force. But also at the same time, I do understand the force sometimes. And that's the catch-22 that we got in life, in society as a whole, is how do you go about handling, you know, somebody that's just unruly, like off the jump, you know, like how do you do it? And that's one of the aspects of what I said a while ago of, I think society as a whole needs to take a big deep look down into their souls and be like, am I the change that I want for my being and for my country? Am I actually doing that change?
Yep. Because I have been doing the exact same thing you're talking about, and I'm not going to lie about the time frame, since August of last year.
Yeah.
I've been doing the exact same things you're talking about right now, because I know I was not leaving a positive impact on the people that I needed to, especially myself.
Yeah.
You know, I know I wasn't. So I am going through that exact thing right now. That's where whenever I went and I did, you know, march with my Black Lives Matter that happened here in my town, which is the reason why I canceled on you a couple of weeks ago, which, I mean, you already knew, but the people, you know, listening and watching to this didn't. And that's the reason why I went and I did what I did, because my mindset and mentality, you know, had this happen 2 years ago, I wouldn't have gone, because I wouldn't have cared.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have cared, but I care about what happens in my small town here, and I want to make a change if possible.
Right.
Because where I live, my town, it's Anna, ANNA.
Yeah.
And for most of you listening and watching this, you can probably take a guess what that ANNA used to stand for, because this used to be a sunset town, to where any black people caught out after the sun went down, you were going to die. Some still, even though that's kind of being gone by the wayside, some of these ignorant hillbillies around here just don't care.
Right.
They really don't. And they made that perfectly clear by some of the stuff that was said on Facebook, because this is one thing I wanted to touch on, because it's something that you said what's going on in your town, because mine was the exact opposite. The police chief himself put a post out that a local girl from Cobden, which is a town about 10 minutes up the road, had called out to him and asked him if it would be okay if they did it. And he's like, of course, as long as it's peaceful. So he put out something about it after they worked out like all the details about, you know, where they're going to, you know, start, walk, finish, etc. After they worked all that out, everything was agreed upon for everything to be peaceful, that people on both sides are going to be protected, you know, for any counter protesters, whatever it may be, was going to be protected. The police chief himself put something out.
Yeah.
The girl who called, I didn't see anything from her. I'm not saying she didn't. I just didn't see it. Right. I just seen what the police chief put out, and it's like the Karens came out and a nuclear bomb on these white women around here. They just went stupid.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even, you know, us 20, 30 somethings. It was the older sunset white people who have access to social media going absolutely crazy and insane.
Yeah.
And once the march and everything, once it all kind of started here, there was, at first, whenever we started, there was probably about 50 of us, but it grew to about maybe 100 or more. It wasn't very big as far as, like on our side. And even like the few counter protesters, which was like 20 or 30, nothing crazy happened. There was only like 2 people who got stupid.
Yeah.
One guy came and he was all, Jesus wouldn't approve of this. And I couldn't help but turn and look at him and be like, didn't that motherfucker march with like 12 dudes in your book? Wasn't that a thing throughout the entire fucking thing up until he died? Didn't he roam around to city marching with like 12 dudes, spreading his gospel? Shut the fuck up. Move along. And then there was another gentleman who was just all lives matter.
Yeah.
He wasn't being very all lives matter. You know what I'm saying? But that's kind of what he was saying. But he was being like super aggressive. Yeah. Like he kept trying to come over there, and mind you, the girl who put this together was maybe 16, 17 years old. And he kept trying to come after her and be aggressive towards her, to the point to where the police officers snatched him up, put him against a wall, and then circled him.
Yeah.
They had one on each side and then one in the front of him. They turned their backs to him, but they were not letting him out up until we moved along, which we did, very quickly, just to de-escalate that and move along.
Yeah.
That was the worst thing that happened here. Of course, a couple people, drove by and had, Trump flags and rebel flags and everything like that, which, like, the Trump flag, I don't care. The rebel flag, though, that one is always going to be a, talking point all in of itself, because of what it was, stood for, still stands for. It's always going to be a contingent with what is the contingent with. And
that
was really it. I mean, it lasted, maybe a couple hours total.
That's one thing.
First and went back to their life.
That's one thing I wanted to ask you about the flag. When I was talking about the extremes.
Yeah.
You have your extremes on the left side. So one thing that when I seen you go on all your little rants on your Facebook that you've been doing over the course past couple weeks, I'm sitting there in the back of my head. I'm like, man, like I hope that he's not with the organization aspect, but with the actual movement aspect. I go, because what would happen if they knew the Billy Hills character? Yeah. You guys, I'm doing air quotes here. With the rebel flag, and you had the flag because it was part of your gimmick in wrestling and everything like that.
Yeah. So
hold on. They with that hard line aspect of that way far side, that extreme, they would not care about it, and they would rip you to shreds over it.
Yep. I would get canceled.
Yeah. Yeah.
So pretty much what Jayson's talking about, guys, is my character that I play, which is just a character in professional wrestling, is for the most part backwoods redneck guy. It's just something that I kind of got stuck with whenever I was going through training and was trying to come up with, a character to be in this, because that's what we all are. We're just characters.
Mm-hmm.
So with that being said, I had just got off, at the time, my real job, and I had, my coveralls and everything on.
Yeah.
And a pay-per-view was starting, and we were talking about this.
Mm-hmm.
And, what kind of characters did we want to be? Because my trainer was there, somebody else was there, and we were just shooting these ideas around.
Right.
And it became my turn, and I'm tired. I'm sitting in my chair, I'm watching the pay-per-view, I'm half-assed listening to this talk over here, and it finally got to be my turn. I'm just kind of like, I look down at my clothes, and I'm just like, eh?
Right. Right.
I'm like, how about I just do this? And it was just coveralls, and I had a flannel underneath. And they're like, do it, because at that particular time, even where I was from and everything, there actually wasn't too many of my characters running around.
Right.
And mind you, we're in the South.
Yeah.
Back home where I'm from, and there actually wasn't that many of me running around then at the time.
Yeah.
So I was a bit of a niche. But then once I started traveling more and doing more, some people that I thought were influential in this,
right,
are like, man, you should start, carrying the rebel flag with you, start getting, bigger pops with all these Southern people and everything else, they'll love you for that shit. I'm just like, okay, well, yeah, they got a good point there, and they are kind of somebody who's been doing this longer than me. So rule of thumb is you listen to them, blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm susceptible because I'm not trying to upset anybody off because I ain't been doing this very long. So I don't want to lose any bookings for it. I don't want to upset anybody, and just a laundry list of other things. So I'm just like, okay, sure. So I start just carrying it alone.
Yeah.
Anytime I was in the locker room with any person of color that wasn't white, I would always ask them, hey, I need to explain to you my character. I need to explain to you what I carry with me, and I need your permission to use it, because if you say no, then it's going back in my bag, and I won't use it in front of you out of respect for you.
Right.
And I got a million people that can contest to that too. So test me. So then I went and I actually bought an American flag to go with it, because the Confederate flag and the Rebel flag just never set right with me, ever, just it by itself. So what I did was I actually took the two and I sewn them together as one.
Yeah.
Just to where I could kind of feel a little bit better about it. And I always loved that Kurt Angle in TNA, whenever he debuted and would still do it for a little while, he did like the big, kind of Chris Jericho pose with the American flag and stuff. So I kind of wanted to rip off Kurt Angle a little bit.
Yeah.
So that's what I would do with them. And that got me to an even bigger, more popular level with other fans and more with, bigger promoters, et cetera, et cetera. Finally, I felt like personally, I got to a point in my career where I could stand on my own, and I didn't need either one.
Right.
So I weeded them both out slowly, and nobody really noticed.
Right.
Maybe one or two people, noticed that, hey, you're not carrying the flags anymore. And I'm like, no, man, I'm just, I'm going to go out there and I'm
going to try something different.
Stay more over. And, I'm kind of leaning this way with the character now, They're like, oh, cool. All right, cool. So this is going to be okay. And then everything about the Confederate flag happened to where you couldn't find it to buy anywhere on the internet. I'm not sure if you remember that year or a few months or whatever that happened, but everywhere took it down. I forget exactly what caused it. I'm not really sure, but it got taken down off everywhere.
Yeah.
So I'm just like thinking in my mind, okay, I know I still have this, and some probably still think that it's a part of me and a part of my gimmick. So I'm like, this is still kind of a thorn in my side, and I need to put this to rest. I need to put it to bed. Yeah. So on one of the first real big televised events that I was on, it was right in the midst of all of this stuff going on and happening with the Rebel flag being taken down, from websites being sold places, etc. and I went out there with it. And mind you, I was actually heel, which for those that don't know, I was the bad guy. And I was the heel at this place.
Yeah.
So I won, of course. I ain't gonna lie, I kind of used it as a heater, which means to be more hated.
Yeah.
For those that don't know the wrestling lingo, it means to be more hated. I used it as a heater, but it was something that even the lady who accompanied me to the ring that night, she didn't even notice that I did it, but fans noticed that I did it. Was once I did, walked around the ring, bad-mouthed everybody, blah, 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 blah. I got back to the stairs, and there was somebody from the local newspaper there taking photos, and he got the perfect shot of it. And it was me yelling at the top of my lungs how much I hated this stupid fucking flag. And he catches me as I'm right in the middle of me throwing it down on the stairs to step on it on my way up to get into the ring.
Yeah.
So I closed that chapter of, the character. I closed that shit. It's, it was done. It's over. And I've never looked back from it.
Right.
Now, with that being said, with everything that has been going on since August of last year and trying to better myself now from where I was and things along those lines, I'm not going to be that guy that goes back through my social media and deletes that stuff.
Yeah, I'm not one of those guys either. Fuck it.
No, I want it to be there. I want it to be found because it's not something I'm going to hide and run from to prevent me from possibly getting a job anywhere.
Right.
I'm going to do that because what does that say about me?
Yeah.
As a person, I'm trying to hide my past, and I'm not going to hide or run from anything. I never felt right about it. I always felt slightly pressured to do it because I felt like if I said no, I was going to lose, reputable bookings to get my name out there on bigger stuff.
Yeah. Oh, I know all about saying no. I know about it. It happens. You say no. Guess what? That happens. No booking. No booking.
Yep,
I know all about it.
So I played ball up until I was finally able to stand on my own and say, fuck you, I ain't got to play ball anymore. And I ain't looked back since. And ever since then, my shit has gone through the roof without it.
Right.
So, again, I'm never going to delete any of those old photos whatsoever.
Yeah.
So anybody can go find them. You can say what you want about them. That's fine.
Right.
And it's not going to be a thing that, again, I hide from. We can have that conversation about it. We can have this kind of conversation about it. I never stood with it. I never stood for it at all. But I had to do what I had to do to protect myself professionally so I could keep going in this business to get to a point to where I could stand on my own. And once I finally did, I was finally able to just close that.
Right.
Now, is that selfish of me? 100%.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Oh, 100%.
There ain't nothing wrong with that, though. I mean,
yeah, I was looking after myself, even if it unfortunately meant hurting somebody else of color out there in that crowd. Right. Because I thought about that too. But it was self-preservation in a business that's going to chew you up and eat you out if you don't.
Right.
And mind you, I am, I think, 33 or 34 now, and I have been doing this since I was 18.
Yeah.
So I have invested blood, sweat, bones, tears, money, gas, miles. Every part about me is and was that business.
Right.
And I was not about to let anything get in the way of me getting to where I wanted to be.
Right.
So if that meant kissing some ass and doing something with that flag that I didn't want to, I was going to do it up until I didn't have to anymore.
Right.
And I don't have to anymore.
Right.
People now don't even associate and or know that I ever did anything with it unless they just go back and find it.
Right.
And that's fine because, again, it's going to be there. I ain't running from it. Never going to run from it because I did it.
Yeah.
I 100% did it.
Oh, yeah.
But that's never what I wanted it to be.
Right.
And now I'm so happy that it's where it is right now, because where it is right now is where I always wanted it to be.
Right.
And it's a bit of a kind of like a tear jerk. Like I'm holding it back right now because it took a lot of work for me to finally get away from it. And I've been away from it for a good 5 years now, luckily. So I've been privileged to say that, you know, part of my past and that flag in general. You know, I'm still happy to be away from it.
Well, you mentioned you went a couple months, a little over a year ago. I think you said you went on a little bit of a journey and whatnot. Do you want to dive into? Do you want to dive on what was the catalyst that brought you to that point in your life at 33? You said.
Let's see. Oh shoot. It was 1987. It's 2020 now. I ain't good at math, Jaysin. I ain't gonna lie. I don't know what the hell.
That's that redneck in you, man. You don't know the math.
Yeah, I don't. Because it's Common Core. I don't know Common Core. I don't know how to get there.
Okay, we'll just say you're 33. We'll leave it at that.
No, it was and it's not something that I mind talking about now at all. No, it was a separation that I went through, and everything that led up to that. Like, I was so, let's see, have you ever been so focused and ingrained on doing one certain thing so much, so hard, that you neglected so much other stuff in your life?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That is what I did for 10 years.
Yeah.
I was selfish. I was manipulative. I was anything and everything you can think of and name in order to get to where I needed to be in wrestling, to try and do better for myself and my family at that time, because wrestling is all I knew.
Right.
I'm not good at being anything else. Even though my character is farmer Billy Hills, I don't know shit about farming, Jaysin.
What?
Sorry, I don't.
My whole life and existence has been a lie. You asshole. That's it. You're canceled. Get off the show.
No. So, like, with that being said, man, like, I didn't know how to be, you know, a good, which I still don't. Like, it's still something that, you know, I work on. Mm-hmm. I don't know how to be, you know, a good boyfriend, father, husband, stepfather, friend, all of that stuff. I still, you know, work on all that stuff every single day, because for 10 years I neglected it, and I was only cared about me, trying to get to bigger and better places so that I could then provide for them.
Right.
So where I was in my mind, okay,
yeah,
I'm doing all the right things, okay? I'm getting on these bigger shows. I'm working bigger names. I'm doing all the right, you know, steps to get to a Ring of Honor, AEW, WWE, etc. I'm doing all the right things to get there in my head, to take better care of my family, mm-hmm. that I am neglecting them in every shape, form, and fashion that you could possibly think of.
Right.
And it was that realization that is like, fuck, I, for the past 10 years, have been a shitty fucking human.
Right.
Because even on my days away from it, mm-hmm. I was still 100% in it. Like, trying to find the next big thing, the next big fix, you know, whatever it was, that I didn't have anything else but it.
Yeah.
Whatsoever. It's like, it's almost like they didn't even exist. Mm-hmm. Like, they were just trinkets
right
there almost for me to play with, even though in my mind, everything I'm doing is for them.
Right.
I'm just neglecting them, even though they're sitting, 5 feet from me.
Right. Wrestling.
I'm neglecting them.
Yeah. Wrestling is. Wrestling's it's a drug, man.
Yeah, you get a small taste of it and you're done.
It is a drug. Like it's like I can say, being 8-9 years removed from it now, that like, would I ever come back? I've had people talk to me since I moved back to the Midwest. Yeah. I've had people call me and message me and talk to me about doing stuff. And I go, if I did come back, it would need to be the right thing, the right situation, the right story. And I need to be paired with the right people. Because I'm not going to be one of those guys that just would come back just to come back to, do some bullshit stuff. Yeah. Like 100%. Mainly because like now what I didn't realize back then is I know my worth. I know where I can be best with, and nobody, not no booker, not no promoter, not even the fucking president of the United States of America can tell me how to be Jaysin Static better than I know how to be Jaysin Static. And they've always fell by the wayside because it's just like, hey, if folks don't want to play ball, then I'm good with it. It's going to be the way that I see it, or not necessarily the way that I see it, but it's got to be good for me.
My vision on it.
Yeah, it's got to be good for me. It's not going to be just good for you, because like I'm not going to stay around forever. Like I'm not in it anymore to go to the top. I know I'm not going to be one of those guys that you would ever see on WWE or AEW. I'm not going to be one of those guys. I knew it. I knew it from Jump Street, but I do know where I can fit in, and I do know where my talents would lie best at, and that's the way that I would want them used. And if they don't want to use them like that, then I'm cool. I'll just sit here and talk my shit and talk about how shitty I think things are.
And that is okay too. Yeah. And that is okay too. But for me, man, I never knew how to turn it off.
Oh yeah. Dude, it was hard. I'm telling you, man.
I never knew how to turn it off.
It was hard to turn off.
Yeah. Like it really is. Because this is for those of you listening, watching, whenever you get in front of 100 people, 200 people, 1,000 people, 10,000 people, and you have your favorite song blaring, okay, and you're coming down this aisle, and all those eyes, think about it, each person has 2 eyeballs for the most part that they can see out of, and you have 100 people, 2,000, 10,000 people in a building, and every single one of those eyes is on you. Your favorite music is playing. Think about that adrenaline rush. Like, it's getting me right now. Like, I don't know if you can see it or not. Yeah. But I get freaking goosebumps just talking about it. But that adrenaline rush. Yeah. And that feeling that you get from that.
That's that drug, man.
It's like crack cocaine. You get one small little taste of it, and like we were talking about earlier, you're going to want it to go from here.
You're going to go from here to here.
You're going to want that extreme.
Yeah.
And that's what was wrong with me, is I was always trying to go from here to here because I kept needing that extreme, because I knew once I got there, I could keep it there, and then I will be able to provide for the ones that I was unfortunately neglecting.
Right.
And now, since then, I have been able to separate myself from it,
right,
for the most part, that I now know how to turn it off for whenever I do go back and everything. Because I've, even though back in October, I put out the video where I was needing to step away and retire for a little bit, I've slowly kind of, walked myself back in because I know my limitations now.
Mm-hmm.
I know what I can handle and know what I want to do.
Right.
And I know that once that red light goes off, I can keep it off.
Right.
And stay that way. And I don't need it up until the freaking next one because I have enough going on in my real and personal life now that keeps me going.
Right.
I don't need that, wrestling to keep me going anymore because it was that constant stay on that high. Now, don't just need wrestling to stay on that. Like I'm up here with like personal stuff that I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
Wrestling just, goes from here to here, levels it, and then once wrestling's done, but I'm still here with just everything that's going on in my personal life right now.
Yeah.
So that was my problem. And once, that realization was dropped on me, like, hey, you fucked up.
Right.
Then it was like, for 10 years, and you've been trying to fight me on this for 10 years. I never listened. Fuck, you right.
Yeah.
It took an extreme to get out of an extreme.
Yeah.
And that's unfortunately, kind of like what, is going on with like the COVID, the Black Lives Matter and everything else going on with the world is, it took something extreme to, get me out of an extreme. It's kind of like, what kind of extreme is it going to take for us to get out of this mess that we're in as a fucking country right now?
Yeah.
It's scary to even think about because going through, the extreme that I did and to a small extent still go through every single day, but that's a personal choice.
Yeah.
Because if I don't hold myself accountable, I'm just going to fall right back into that shit again.
Oh, yeah.
But it's an accountability that you have to, and well, you don't have to, I have to hold on to every single day to make sure that I don't go that way again. I stay here, and if this with the wrestling stuff happens, cool. If not, I don't fucking need it.
Yeah.
That's where I always needed to be, but I was never there. It took something extreme to get there, and lucky enough, I'm there now. Like, I got my giant idiot hanging out my daggum window right now, trying to either catch a fly or a leaf. Dude. And he brings, like, so much joy to where he gives me a freaking high every day, like wrestling would, just watching his freaking antics. Hank, come here. You want to be on TV? Come here.
Well, he nobody actually be able to see him, seeing that this is just an audio base now. So we're just doing a video because it's easier to talk to people on video than it is over the phone. But he's got a dog. What kind of dog you got, man?
Oh man, I don't know what all he's mixed with here, man. I think he's got like some Chow in him, like maybe some German Shepherd. I'm not sure, but he's just my big lovable doofus.
Right.
And love him to death. And right now he's just trying to go through my windows for some reason. I don't know what it is. I ain't got no idea.
Yeah, man.
He's a big doofus.
I can attest to the rigors of what wrestling does to your mind. Like I had a time. One of the reasons I bounced out and I left like I did was, I've said it 100 times on the show already. Like you motherfuckers are gonna get tired of hearing me say it, but it was, I don't know what it was. We were coming back from a show in what was that small town? That did the free shows on Wednesdays.
IWAU.
Yeah, IWAU. We're
still running on Tuesdays.
Yeah, we me and Brandon and a couple other dudes were coming back from there on one Wednesday night, and they dropped me off at the gym, at the Broadway gym where I had my car at, and I went from the Broadway gym. You ever been down to the Broadway gym?
Yeah, I've never worked there, but I've been by
Anheuser-Busch.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I walked from Anheuser-Busch downtown with my gear bag, and sat down there underneath the arch right there on the riverfront on the little tiles. And I was just sitting there, man, because I was so spent and just like my headspace was like chaotic. Like I did the crazy Jaysin Static gimmick. I've told people on this show, like, that crazy Jaysin Static gimmick was not the gimmick. Like, it was my actual life. Like I was spinning fast, out of control. Like I was an angry little abusive little troll. And like, I was just a mean individual. And like, I didn't really care about a whole lot of shit. I just cared about doing what I was doing. And I don't know what it was. I was sitting there, I was watching YouTube videos, just sitting there, you know, chilling, relaxing. And I was watching YouTube videos, and an Ultimate Warrior video came across YouTube, and it was one of Ultimate Warrior's motivational madness type stuff that he did. He had a YouTube channel before he passed away where he did like little spats of you know, inspiration and motivation. And one of those came on, and he was just like in full Ultimate Warrior, you know, like charm. What the fuck is wrong with you? You are the controller of your life. What the fuck you're a warrior type shit. And I was just like, you know what? And that was my trigger. Like that was the trigger that was my extreme, except for it wasn't an extreme. It just took Ultimate Warrior to be like, hey, dumb fuck, what the fuck's your problem? Like that, essentially that's what he said. He's like, what the fuck's your problem, loser? So it took Ultimate Warrior on fucking YouTube to go, hey, Jaysin Static, you're being a fucking moron. Get your shit straight.
Yeah.
So, and then I went home that night and I packed my bag and I fucking left. And I went to fucking Pennsylvania. And
haven't looked back.
And I haven't looked back. And I tell you, man, like doing that, I can never say it enough of doing that deep dive within yourself. If you got issues or problems in your life, guys, one of the best things that you can ever do is to break down all of those walls. Good Chris Jericho reference, break down the walls. It's a good thing to do to start pecking away at those walls. Get your little pickaxe and start breaking down those walls, because those walls are the things that keep you from going further in your life and being happy within yourself and within your life and what you do. It's one of the best things that you can do. Yep,
because it's something that is still way too, you know, scared to be talked about, and that's just getting self-help.
Yeah.
You know, it's still a touchy subject, even though, you know, therapy is so mainstream right now. Mm-hmm. People are still like, oh.
I was one of those people that nobody would have been able to help me. Nobody. Yeah. Like I would have had to done it myself. Like there was no possible way that anybody was going to get to me.
Yeah.
And it was just, and I think that's one of the things where like, I don't like, some people therapy will work, and that's, some people do need that. Mm-hmm. But there's some people, like if you're in the mindset of like how I was, unreachable, not listening to anybody, not caring about anything or anyone or even yourself.
Yeah.
You know, when you get to that extreme, there's nobody that can stop you except for you.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. See, I'm on the same spectrum. You know, the therapy thing, no, because guess what? I'm just going to tell you ass what you fucking want to hear.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I know how to play the game.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I know how to play the game.
All it is.
I just want you to leave me alone. Yeah.
I'm only here because of a fucking court order.
Yeah. Yeah.
and it is. It's one of those things to where at the end of the day, for those of you that go to therapy and it works for you, fantastic. Congratulations. Please keep going. But at the end of the day, you still have to hold yourself accountable too. And that's what a lot of people don't understand, is that you still have to do the work too. You still have to hold yourself accountable. And that was my biggest thing. Like, for the longest time, I couldn't grasp the fact that there was an issue with me. You know, I thought I was doing everything right. I was doing everything by, quote unquote, the book. and that book is just so, man, I don't want to say out of date, old fashioned, being, the fact that the man has to do it all. The man has to do whatever it takes to make the most money so the woman doesn't have to work, the old tropes kind of deal. That's where my mentality was broken, because now the way it should be, and the way it honestly should have always been, was everything should be equal between, literally men, women, black, white, gay, straight. Everything should just be even across the board. It really should. And that goes for couples, which that wasn't my mentality. And everything at the time was, I knew what I was good at in the wrestling side of things.
Right.
I knew what I was capable of. I had a goal to get somewhere, to, be that breadwinner, that I was just neglecting the people that I was trying to make the bread for.
Right.
And that's where now I have to be the one that holds myself accountable to not let that ever happen again. And I work on it daily. Yeah.
Yeah. It's something that you got to work on. Like, I can tell you, like, it's never, every day is a fight for me. I wouldn't say that I'm the most sane person in the room, and like, I'm never gonna, like, while I sit here and say, like, I'm in a hell of a lot better space than what I was, I still have a hell of a lot of work to go on where I want to be at in my life. Like, I don't look at my past like I used to. I look at yesterday. Am I doing better than I was, like, today? Like, here's today. Am I better today than I was yesterday?
Yep.
That's the way I take everything day by day now. I have plans and I have goals and I have things that I want to do and reach. But ultimately, if I don't ever get to those goals, while it might be a letdown, at least I know that I'm going for them, and I'm trying. And one of my big things, like I've said a bunch of times already, is one of the big reasons why I do what I do, and I talk about the things that I talk about, and is because we have so much division, so much contention, so much hostilities between all sides, every side, anything and anybody. You never know what's going to set somebody off. Hell, it could be a pineapple on pizza type thing that sets somebody off.
Oh,
So me personally, what I've done with my life is I want to better understand myself and everybody else. So one of the things that I've done with the show is to try to find commonalities and building blocks, to build bridges to people that I may have differences of opinions with, and even with people that I do agree with, because there's, you got to face it. I'm not going to agree with everything that everybody says, but you can stand on my bridge and we can have a conversation about it.
Exactly.
What I don't want to do anymore, because I've done it enough in my life, is have a bunch of people on that bridge and then drop a bomb on it. I've done enough of that shit in my life.
It was on that bridge that didn't deserve to be there.
Yeah. I've done enough of blowing up bridges. YouTube or anybody that may hear this later, that's not a threat. It was just me saying I destroyed the bridges of friendships and relationships with people because I was an asshole.
The proverbial fake ones.
Yes.
The fake ones.
And so I'm all about, like, I can be staunch in my beliefs on some things. Like, I'm always going to be very staunch on taxes. I think it's a fucking joke and a scam. But there's things that I do want to come to the table with, and I do want to talk to people about and build bridges with each other, because I think that's what's needed more, because we're not so different, whether we're black or white, gay or straight. The majority of society, in my dealings and the way that I move in and out of my social medias and conversate with people, we have those hard extremes. Yeah. Who are the very loudest. But most people are very level-headed and
reasoned within themselves. Like, that's why I said, like, if the government,
those are the ones that you want to have conversations with.
If the government wouldn't have jumped the gun and the media wouldn't have jumped the gun, hell, the government and media is essentially the same thing to me.
Yeah, that's totally true.
They work hand in hand with each other. So,
100%.
But I think if we try to find, and this would be something good for you to take if you're going to keep doing the BLM movement, is to try to, since you're a little older and a little bit more wiser and reasoned, I know as a young person, you get a little wild and illogical sometimes. Is to try to build commonality, try to find a common ground with people that you can reason with each other on, and to make each other realize that, hey, neither side is really that bad. Neither of our sides are really that bad, and we do all want the same thing. Hell, and you can take that into consideration. We had a fucking black president.
Yeah.
And the majority of people voted for the motherfucker. So to me, that and we have millions upon millions and millions of black entertainers, people of prominence, and has done great things. Big business moguls, athletes, all kinds of people, all teachers from all walks of life. So the majority of people in our society today is not at those extremes that most people think it is. More people will come to the table if both sides learn to be like, okay, where can we work with each other on here?
Yeah, because let's find some common ground here.
Yeah. Because that's the fact of the matter is nobody is going anywhere in this country. We got to live here. We got to live with each other.
Yep. Because there was so many people, I'm going to fucking move to Canada if Trump becomes president. Motherfucker, I know your address. You're still fucking there.
Oh, yeah. You're still here. Where are you going?
Yep. Yep. You ain't going nowhere, and you ain't going to go nowhere if he gets a second term either.
Yeah.
And it won't fucking happen. You ain't going to go nowhere. You look like a good Facebook warrior, though.
Yeah. It's one of those things, man. It's just like I like to get into my little rants and my little beefs with people and shit like that. But in the end, like, I'm always like, hey, yo, like, I get your point. I understand it.
Yeah.
No bad faith. But there's some people on those spectrums where I'm just like, okay, like, I'm fuck you type shit. But hey, man, I got some wrestling questions I want to ask you.
Yeah.
Let's get. We've been talking for a good hour and 30 minutes about life and relationship and politics and stuff like that. Let's fulfill Tyler Adams' dream of talking to Billy Hills about wrestling.
Hey, I'm gonna do it.
Okay.
I love Tyler. So what all questions does he got?
Well, he just likes hearing me talk about wrestling. He says that I don't talk about wrestling enough.
I've been like the only wrestler you've had on, so.
No, man, I've had quite a few on.
Oh, have you? Okay, yeah, I didn't know.
Since the rebrand, I had let me see who. I'll run down the list real quick. I'll give all them guys a shout out.
Yeah, there you go.
Let me pull this up real quick, and I'll run down the line. So hell, even Billy can go check these people out. Because there's some pretty cool people.
For the second plug, by the way.
Huh?
I said they're welcome for the second plug.
Yeah. So, the one that dropped this week was my best friend, Rob. He's a flag builder. He's got a company called True Allegiance Flag Company. If you see me posting flags about, stuff about wood flags in the groups and that's the guy that builds them. Been a good friend of mine since we were little kids. I had a YouTuber by the name of Millionaire Vlogs, another guy I've known since we were kids. He won He won $10 million in the Missouri lottery off a scratcher. So I talked to him about that. And just about 2 weeks ago, I had a pro wrestler out of the Northeast named Fox Viner or Vineyard, Firework Fox Vineyard. He's done a bunch of stuff with TNA and Ring of Honor and stuff like that.
Yeah, I must have missed that one somewhere.
Yeah, that was about 2 weeks ago. And 2 weeks ago, I did the one with pro wrestler and entertainer
He does music and stuff like that. Second to none, Dewan O'Neal. That was a really good conversation. We talked a lot about pro wrestling, but we also talked a lot about race and politics and stuff like that. That was a really good one.
That one too, then. Okay.
And then Golden Boy Greg Anthony.
Yeah, fuck that. Man,
yeah, I know you know him.
Yeah, he can go fuck himself.
he has that. We talked strictly about pro wrestling that time. Then I had my homegirl Left Bumble, who, as soon as I'm done with you, I'm going to jump on one with her again.
There you go. I'm sorry for keeping you so late. If you had to get to her anytime soon,
it's all right. It's all right. She understands. And then I have my buddy Deldon. He's a YouTuber, entrepreneur. My buddy Alex, Fat Man the Flipper. He's another YouTuber, entrepreneur guy. He runs a bit, Amazon business and stuff like that. Then I had my buddy Shane. He another YouTuber, Amazon entrepreneur guy. I had a gun rights advocate named Princess, black girl from Ohio. She's pretty cool. And then nice. I had the bad boy Bob Cook. You know who Bob Cook is?
I don't think so. No.
The bad boy Bob Cook. He was a old school pro wrestler from the 70s, late 70s, 80s, and 90s. He's trained by Great Malenko. Did a run up the ranks with Jody and Dean, and all those guys. Did a bunch of stuff. Did a bunch of job stuff with WWE and WCW. Gotcha. Wrestled Sting, Flair, all the freaking legends that you can think of. Yeah. Steamboat, all of these guys.
Nice.
And then I had one of my mentors in the wrestling game, Shaft. You know who Shaft is?
Yep, I know that one.
I had Shaft on there. And then I had the evil genius, Travis Cook.
I love
that was a good one too. We talked a lot about politics and wrestling. And then I had my buddy Junkie Dave. He's a hip hop artist and singer, and that's been so far for the rebrand. And they've been good, man. They've been doing good. I'm liking the way it's going.
I'm gonna have to go back and find the one with Travis again because Travis has always been good people to me.
Yeah.
Anytime we've ever been in a locker room together, which has only been like maybe a handful of times.
Yeah.
The SICW.
Yeah.
But he was always such a fun character. He just in and out of the ring. He was always just
He's always on it.
Around.
He's always on it. He's always on it.
And he's so fun though. But let's talk
some of the things I've talked about the other guys with. These are some of the things that I see wrong with wrestling today. I'm just going to go off the hip, and you can refute or agree or do whatever you want to do. One of the big things that I see wrong in wrestling today is titles. And what I mean by titles is the prestigiousness of the titles. I always say the heavyweight title. If you're a heavyweight title and your heavyweight title is no matter whether it's WWE or any of the other companies out there, that needs to be your most prestigious title, which means you need to find a handful of guys and work them in and around that title. I think one of the big things, and I'm going to use WWE as the example because hell, they've been around the longest.
That's fair.
You see a lot of guys on the roster now who are 10, 12, 13, 14 time, 15 time world heavyweight champions. I think that diminishes that particular belt, the heavyweight championship. I think that diminishes it. And especially when you have numerous guys, like upwards of 10, I think there's 10 guys on the roster right now that's held the belt more than 10 times.
Yeah, I think I see where you're going and everything with that one. And here's the thing about most of those guys is because I know you're talking about like your Randy Ortons, your John Cenas, Edge, Sheamus, a few others, is the reason why those guys have so many is because it was just, for the longest, it was just them.
Yeah.
Up until your CM Punk came along and blew everything, up basically for the landscape of WWE. But from, mid 2000s up until that CM Punk era started, it just bounced around between the same 4, 5, 6 guys because that's all that they had.
I'm a big proponent of longer time. I'm a big
proponent, like you got to 10 in no time.
Yeah, I'm a big proponent of longer title reigns, especially for the heavyweight title.
Yeah, absolutely, because they got there for a reason.
Yeah, and that goes back. It also goes back with the way our society is today, where everybody wants to change it on a dime. Like, you have a guy that the fans would be rooting for. Oh, this guy needs to be world champ, and you'll get to world champ status, and then 2 weeks later they're like, okay, I'm done with this. I want this guy to be world champ now.
Oh yeah, it's that attention span.
Yeah,
that's what you see a lot of is people have the attention span of an ant.
Yeah,
and it's not wrong because that goes along with what we were talking about earlier in having all this social media at the palm of our hands.
Mm-hmm.
That has created a society that pretty much, how can I say this accurately? Instant gratification.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
Instant gratification at the palm of our hands. So having that instant gratification of, okay, cool, our guy got the belt. Within 45 seconds, we can easily find another guy.
Yeah.
Because of the instant gratification that we have in our hands.
Yeah.
And that is unfortunately, how wrestling is working right now, even too.
Yeah. Do you think that's a detriment? Do you think that's a detriment, kind of?
It shouldn't be, realistically.
Yeah.
I mean, it shouldn't be, but it's leaning more that way.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. I mean, let's see. What has been the longest? Man, I know Asuka right now. She has the longest WWE title reign in a while.
I know Adam Cole was up there.
Yeah, Adam Cole, he was up there for I think a day over a year.
Yeah.
I believe. He was up there. Asuka is the longest because she had it for dang near what felt like 2 years. Nobody could beat her at all. And nothing has come close to either of those at all.
Yeah.
I think the New Day and their tag team title run, I think that they outlasted Demolition.
Okay.
So I think that one happened.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the 3 longest to date. I could probably Google it and find more, but
right.
Those are the ones that I know of off the top of my head is those 3. But Asuka and the women's thing, like the women's evolution hadn't happened yet. So there wasn't really anybody for her. So she just held it forever.
Yeah.
As far as the New Day's title reign, it was kind of the same thing. It was just them and the Usos. Yeah. Every once in a while they throw in somebody else, but that's all it was.
Yeah.
Because they hadn't built anybody else.
Yeah.
Well, finally they started building some in NXT, and boom, now we got some. So those title reigns, I think, are coming to, end. Some are too soon.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think the fact that Drew Galloway is probably fixing to lose his, or Drew McIntyre, after 100 some odd days, I think that's going to be a little rough.
Yeah.
Because Drew is very liked, very loved, but I understand why they're making him lose.
Yeah.
And it's not anything personal, but here's the issue that I have with it is, okay, you want to take it from him so that once you get crowds back in the building, you can give him that moment then.
Mm-hmm.
What if that doesn't happen anytime soon?
Right.
Then what are you going to do? It's a double-edged sword.
Right.
With the talks along, those lines. It's
I would just let them run it, man.
Exactly.
I just let them run it. That's what I would do.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you got it to do right now is just let things run. Like, do you know much about what's going on in Impact right now?
No.
Okay, so try and get situated here because this is a fun story that I read literally right before we started this. So Moose, okay,
Yeah.
he had done an interview with somebody and was like, so before this COVID thing happened, he's like, I was scheduled to, become the heavyweight champ, and we were going to do it in the King of the Mountain.
Right.
If you remember that old gimmick from back in TNA.
Yeah.
Like, but the COVID thing happened, so they just scrapped the whole thing.
Right.
He's like, they already brought the belt, the old TNA heavyweight title.
Mm-hmm.
They had already brought it, and, had basically given it to me. He's like, so fuck it. He's like, I'm TNA heavyweight champ.
Right.
Even though right now, I don't think they have a champ right now since
Tessa Blanchard.
the Tessa Blanchard thing happened. Yeah. Which, I mean, it's not her fault, unfortunately. But I understand the reason why Impact did what they did, and I'm sure it was kind of, semi-mutual.
Right.
We'll never know because of the non-disclosure she had to sign of not talking shit about them.
Right.
We'll never know her side. But, I can understand the reason why they did what they had to do. It's business. It's shitty. It still happened. It is what it is. Sucks.
Yeah.
Because I would have loved to have seen her get a longer run had this COVID thing not happened.
Yeah.
Because that was such a big deal whenever it happened. Her beating Sammy, it was the talk of wrestling for, a couple weeks, and then COVID happened and just ruined everybody's life. Man.
You damn COVID, you ruined everybody's life. What do you think? They took my gerb. What do you think is some of the biggest issues in wrestling today? I know everybody talks about all the good stuff. I like to talk about how we can fix wrestling. And make it better than what it is. What are some of the things that Billy Hills thinks, not just WWE and TNA and all those guys, but wrestling as a whole? What do you think is some of the things that are shitty and need to be worked on?
Across the board, I think we need to have a what's the word I'm looking for here? A profile or help me out here, Jason. Not necessarily a profile, but like okay, so you know how first day of practice, we would always try to sit there and make the person quit?
Yeah.
By being a little bit more rougher on them or stiffer to them or whatever.
Yeah.
No, we need to do that.
Yeah.
We need that kind of process outside of the ring before the person even gets to the ring.
Right.
And the reason why I say that is because I know you're on Twitter, and I know you're probably not too well aware of the
I know. I know all about it. I know all about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that is what I would love to prevent right now, because you and I both have some friends on there.
We can talk about that off air because I don't know the name. Yeah, I haven't seen all the names. I've seen a handful of them.
I got the full list, and I'm not going to go into it here. Yeah. I don't ever want to go into it ever again. I've already done it once, and I'm done.
Yeah.
It's too much. It hurts. It's bothersome because I've been in the locker room with a lot of the guys that's on that list. Not all of them are my friends, but a couple of them are. Mm-hmm. I'm really close to one of the situations, but I'm not going to go into it. But all of that hurts.
Yeah.
And there needs to be a process in place to weed that kind of stuff out before it ever gets in.
Right. I can agree to that.
For those that are listening and don't know what we're talking about with the speaking out movement, is a lot of women and men are speaking out against things that have happened to them, be it verbally, physically, sexually, any kind of abuse you can possibly think of that has happened to them in professional wrestling. they're speaking out against, and it's against a lot of people that some seen coming, but a lot didn't.
Yeah.
And I can't freaking stand that kind of shit.
Yeah.
I can't. That's where, God, I want some sort of policing put in place.
Right.
To weed that shit out before it ever gets in.
Yeah. Well,
that's why I know you've seen that post I made not too long ago where I said, I don't give a flying fuck if professional wrestling burns to the fucking ground. If that means we can build this son of a bitch back up in our fucking image of it, which is not having that kind of shit in it.
Yeah. Most people don't realize that pro wrestling is a very, very abusive business.
It is.
Both physically and mentally, not just on the wrestling aspect, but on promoters and other wrestlers trying to taking liberties and advantages with people to get them into different places and stuff like that. It happens. And it never happened to me at all. Like I had people try to take liberties with me, like physical wise.
Yeah.
And thought that they were going to push me around, but I shut that shit down because, like, hell, I might be 5 foot nothing, but I'm going to take my lump if I have to take it, because ain't nobody going to run over me, and ain't nobody going to take liberties with me without me hearing it, or everybody in the locker room hearing it.
Mm-hmm.
And exactly. That was a big detriment to my career, is because I rubbed people the wrong way because I was such a hard ass to handle sometimes with people. Yeah. If I didn't like you, I would tell you.
It's supposed to be that way, Jaysin.
Yeah.
If I didn't, supposed to be that way.
Yeah, I went up to a promoter, one of the promoters in St. Louis, and I told him, I go, look, if you ever put me in the ring with this guy, I'm walking. I fucking hate him. I don't like him. I go, we've both had words and we both said that we'd get physical with each other. So unless you want to get somebody hurt or one of your workers dead, I go, that's probably what would happen if you, that's probably what would happen. And he was just like, all right, no problem. I trust him. And he never did.
And that is, of course, just another part of it. But, going back to what you were talking about is, the taking liberties, that's such, just that, like I was talking about a lot in my personal life, just that old trope.
Yeah.
That
I'm going to step on you to get here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
Yeah.
That old shit is just that. It's old.
Mm-hmm.
There's no reason why we can't all make money.
Right.
Doing this. We can do it.
Yeah.
Literally, it's proof in the AEW pudding that all of us can make money, because that whole company is based around a bunch of guys that made money together.
Yeah.
It can be fucking done.
Yeah.
They're proof in it. Kevin Nash had that saying, if you got friends in the business, you ain't making money. He had a shitload of friends called Click. They made plenty of money.
Yeah.
Working with each other.
Yeah.
Bullshit. It's all based on such bullshit.
Right.
And it's got to change. It's got to start from somewhere
within.
And it has to either go up or down. But somewhere it's got to change somewhere.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if you followed the Kevin Owens thing that happened between him and Vince.
The whole mask thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I read something about that. I don't follow dirt sheets too much, but if I see somebody talking about it, I'm just like, oh, okay. Like I don't watch like I watch a little bit here and there. I follow the guys that I want to follow.
Yeah.
But for as sitting down and watching an entire show, I don't do that. I
don't do that either.
I just follow the guys' careers that I want to follow. Like I like Bray Wyatt, so I'll watch anything that he does.
Yeah.
And then there's some guys, like what the fuck's his name? I can't think of his name, but I know he was one of the guys on the. I did hear that he was one of the guys on that list, Dalton Castle.
Yeah.
Like I really enjoyed his work, but that's the only name I'm going to say, guys. I really enjoyed his work, so I would follow him and see what he was doing because I like the character and the gimmick.
Yeah.
So it's guys like that, like I'll follow if you got a good gimmick and you're that and you put on that larger than life aspect, then and it comes across me and I relate to it, I'll probably follow you. But if not, then I probably don't really care about you.
The fun story about the Kevin Owens thing is it wasn't really dirt sheet.
Yeah.
It was kind of made public by him in a conversation that him and Vince had, and he went public with the story because Kevin put out a very heartfelt and emotional video. I don't know if you've seen it, about just asking people to please wear their mask, and it was due to his wife.
Yeah.
I want to say it was like somebody close to her.
It was her father. It was her father, I believe.
Yeah, got it and passed away, and they wasn't even able to go to their funeral because they wouldn't allow it.
Yeah.
So he put that video out. Of course, he gets called to Raw to be there to do it, and Kevin, of course, sees everything he sees with like no mask and stuff like this, and he's like, "Yo, shit don't fucking change. I'm going the fuck home." He's like, "I don't want to take the risk of catching this."
Yeah.
And Vince is like, whoa, don't leave. What can I do to keep you here? And then when they had a conversation about it.
Yeah.
And he's like, just make the staff wear the fucking mask just for however long that, we're taping. Then if they don't want to wear it, they can leave the building, put it back on and come back inside.
Yeah.
Like, wear it while we're filming. Right. And Vince is like, well, what if they're caught not wearing it while we're filming? He's like, well, you remember that time that I cussed on TV and I got fined like $5,000? Fine them. Because guess what? You fine me that $5,000 for cussing and I ain't cussed on TV no more, have I?
Right.
So that's, something small change that needs to happen right now for them so that they can keep going and keep putting out entertainment for us.
Right.
Because it's something desperately that not just us other wrestlers, former wrestlers or whatever need, just the general public in general needs right now is some form of entertainment because of all this COVID stuff, we're not getting it much.
Yeah.
Not as much as we're used to. So like that needs to keep, going, that wheel needs to keep turning just to, keep the content wheel rolling and keep putting out entertainment for everybody because everybody needs them right now.
Yeah.
We ain't got much, for the most part, everybody just got 4 walls to look at.
Yeah.
That's not too entertaining.
What besides the, you made a good analogy, not analogy, but you made a good point about, in wrestling, cleaning up that dirty aspect.
Yeah.
That dirty aspect of wrestling. I'm cool with that. But we were talking about something earlier about police force and stuff like that, about policing and police brutality and stuff like that. That's another thing. Good police officers out there. I know you're out there.
Yep, you are out there.
I know you're out there. And I'm never going to be one of those assholes that say you're complicit in it, because I understand the game. But you do have the power to speak out and say, hey, this is a dirty fucking cop.
Yep.
And that's good to do. It's good to do that stuff because guess what that'll do in the end? It's going to make people look more favorable upon you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Just like in the pro wrestling world. If we start weeding out those bad apples and being like, hey man, we ain't down with this shit, it's going to look more favorable upon us all. But on that note, like besides that point, the speak out movement, what is something else on the technical sides, on the back end, on the worker aspect, do you think is essentially the drizzling shits and could be better?
Oh man, it's right now I am seeing way too many Canadian destroyers in my life.
Yeah.
You know what that is.
Yeah,
that flipping car driver.
I know what it is.
Every single match and every single card at any freaking show I see, watch, go to, whatever, has one. Can we just get rid of that dangerous shit?
Yeah.
For the love of God, is it literally going to take somebody getting paralyzed before we get rid of that dangerous shit?
Yeah.
Even somebody else, of predominance right now in independent wrestling is like, can we just stop with that one? Because it's, really dangerous and, somebody could get hurt, somebody could die.
Yeah.
And rather it not be anybody that I like or myself.
Right.
So can we just retire that one? So I would love to see that go away. That would be great. As far as like the technical side of things, because I am getting more into the behind the scenes technical side of things. So I have been under the learning tree.
Yeah.
Of somebody who works up north, and we know what I mean by up north.
Yeah.
He is in a very predominant spot up there in the behind the scenes technical side of things and is, dropping little nuggies down here on me. And I'm using those little nuggies down here where I can.
Right.
And I would love to see a lot more companies use these. And I will be more than happy for anybody who, wrestling-wise, listening to this, wants to know what they are. I will be more than happy to share them and all the notes that I have on this to help, one, your show be better, two, it not last 6 fucking hours, because we both know that dumb shit can fucking happen, and everybody get out of there, on time, and literally everybody be happy.
Yeah.
Because that's always been something that you and I both can contest to. Mm-hmm. Us as performers, we normally get there a few hours before the show starts.
Yeah.
Once the show itself, say it starts at 7, some shows don't end till 10 o'clock or later.
Yeah.
And that's the drizzling shit.
Yeah.
It freaking sucks. Sitting there with your thumb up your ass for 3-4 hours, it's horrible.
So do you think shows need to be better structured?
100%. And it takes this is how much I invested, okay? Out of my own personal pocket, my own personal money, I invested $120. I've pretty much, I can't say that I've gotten that money back, but in a oh God, how could I put this verbiage? In a personal knowledge gain.
Yeah.
That we can pass on, I have gained.
Right.
Because in that $120 investment, ever since I made that investment and I started sitting under this learning tree and I'm learning how to time stuff and do little bitty things here and there and how to adjust some stuff.
Yeah.
There's not been a show that I produced that has not either gone off right on time or has been under on time that I've set for the show to end.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's one of the one thing that needs to be better structure. Like even match structure from match to match to match. If you have 8 matches, not every one of those 8 matches is going to be that 30-minute, that 30-minute bout. Like not every match should be like that. Every match should have a certain set time. First match, this is just off the cuff, say you have 5 matches. First match, and you're on a 2-hour show. Obviously, your last match is going to be your longest match.
Yep.
Because that's where you're doing the most work at.
Yep. That's your money.
That's your money. That's your money. The main event. So you're probably going to allot maybe 30 minutes to 30 minutes to 45 minutes for that between conversate or promos back and forth with each other, if it's a brawl or something like that, or if it's just a match. So there you go. You got 45 minutes out of a 2-hour show gone.
Yep.
So where are you going to make up the other 4 matches at?
Yep.
20-minute. Your first match, maybe 5 to 10, maybe another 20-minute match, and then maybe a 10 to 15-minute match, and then maybe a 20-minute match, and then there you go. There's all your time.
And see, then you got to figure in intermission into that.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you need one.
Yeah, if you need one. I think matches. I think everybody, most shows, they need to structure the show better to keep it progressively going more, because you don't want your show to peak at your first match.
No.
You don't want. I'm not saying that your first match can't be hype, but you don't want to blow your full load at the very beginning, because then you're gonna, essentially you're gonna be blowing your whole load, and everybody's gonna be tired by the time main event comes.
Right, because I'm trying to dig out my notes here. Bear with me. Let me see. Don't have any in there. Let me check my closet. Hold on.
Another thing while you're looking for that, another thing that I've noticed is. And this is one of my big problems that I have with wrestling nowadays, is everybody, to me, is the same. Everybody works the same. They all have the same style. We don't really have any of those larger than life characters.
No.
And if you really want to make money in the business, You've got to build yourself to that larger than life character. If you look at all the greatest names in the wrestling business, even up to today, all of the greatest names in the business all have some type of character behind them. Like you can go from your Rocks to your Hogans to your Flairs to your Bray Wyatts to your even to your Nick Jacks, even to your Young Bucks. They have a gimmick. While they are fancy and flippy floppy, they actually do have, like a gimmick. It's not talked about much, but they do have a gimmick, and that's why they make so much money.
Yep, they had their super kick party.
Yeah,
I guess all my notes are outside in my bag still. I guess I haven't emptied that out, but yeah, I was going to just run through like the latest show that we did, but because structuring is, such a big component in, what we do and everything, that is just it's so unspoken.
Yeah.
That it's, man, more people need to know how to structure the show itself. Mm-hmm. And then structure their match according to where they are on said show.
Yeah.
That's another thing, is because the promoter and the show that you go to, they're not always going to be like, okay, guys, you got 10 minutes. They're not going to tell you. They're just going to be like, your third match on the card. That's going to be all they have to tell you.
Yeah.
If your third match on a card of 7, mm-hmm. you need to be out of there at about 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Like your first, if I'm booking everything and I'm timing it all out, it is a 7-match card. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
My first 3 matches, my first 2 are going to be 10 minutes.
Yeah.
My third one, 10 to 15. I'll give them a little bit of a wiggle room with 5 just in case they have an extravagant go home, because after that match, I'm going into a 20-minute intermission.
Yeah.
Whenever you look at that time frame, 20-minute intermission, okay? Let me just backtrack real quick. My show starts at 7, and I want to be out of there at 10. Okay.
Right.
I just took out 20 minutes for an intermission. Let's put 15 for that third match.
Right.
Okay. That puts me at 7:45. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then another 20 minutes for the first 2 matches.
Right.
That puts me at 8:05 starting back after intermission. So I got 4 matches to go, right?
Yep.
The next 2 matches are going to have 15 minutes.
Yeah.
That puts me at 9.
Mm-hmm.
In my main, they're going to have, depending on how hot that gimmick is, I might give them 20, but they're probably going to be stuck at 15 too.
Yeah.
If it's drizzling shits, I'm going to cut them off at 10.
Yeah.
That puts me at 10 after, maybe 20 after. Then the main event against the rest.
Right.
I'm out of there at 10.
Yeah.
Like, you got to think about those little things.
Yeah.
You know, you got to, as you're sitting down and you're booking out the card, you got to look at, okay, this is starting at 7. All right, 10 here, 10 here, 10 here. Intermission. I'll put 10 here, 10 here, you know, all the way up until you see.
Yeah. Yeah.
I need this to end here. Okay.
Yeah.
Boom. And then it is up to your guy at Gorilla, because you need a guy there to enforce that shit.
Yeah.
And that's what I do. That's what I've been learning, and I've been learning how to do, because that $120 investment that I told you about.
COVID. COVID.
I'm going to give it to you through the phone, buddy.
He's not wearing a mask, guys.
But, okay. Now that that's going down the right hole, that $120 investment was, I purchased microphones.
Yeah.
Headsets for myself, my camera girl, or girls, because we have women down there that record our shows for us on the floor, and my referees, and then my production guy who does music and video. So I am in contact with everybody on the floor, the ref, and the production to make sure that my show ends on time.
Right.
I am directing this ship. This ship don't sail without me.
Right.
I want this shit to end at a decent time, because I don't want these people out here at midnight, and I don't want to be out here at midnight either.
Yeah.
I want to get in, get off, get out.
Right.
In my 2.5, 3 hours that I set myself, depends on how frisky I'm feeling.
Right.
And I start out with my production guy. Make sure, hey, Adam, you know, cue the national anthem. Boom. That starts at 6:55, because my bell hits at 7 for the first match.
Yeah.
And boom, we're off and we're running.
Okay.
As soon as it gets to 5 minutes for the match to end, as far as a bell goes, I tell my ref, hey, 5 minutes to go home.
Yep.
And for those that don't know, go home means end it.
Yep.
So that's what I'm doing all night long. Oh, I forgot my ring announcer. He's got one too. Forgot about him.
Yeah.
Whoever my ring announcer is at that time, he's got one in his ear too. So he can make any announcements or changes or anything on the fly that I need him to announce to the fans or whatever. So that's what I'm doing now all night long.
Do you think
I take great pride in that job?
Do you think it would be better suited for guys coming into the business, you know, the new upstarts and stuff, to learn how to better structure a match on time and stuff like that? Because I can tell you, whenever I train, they didn't teach us about that really.
No,
you know, they just said go out there and do your shit, man.
Yeah, that's not a thing taught down here at all, and it's such a big thing up there.
Yeah.
You know, that somehow that's not trickled down down here to us, and I don't know how the fuck that's happened.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it's such a big thing up there.
Yeah, in the old days, you would never be able to get away with any of that shit.
Oh no. That was not a thing that was going to happen.
That was one of the good gems about the old days of wrestling, is while you did have a lot of shady bullshit on the backside.
Yeah,
they didn't allow for a lot of the bullshit that we have nowadays.
No, and you know, it's funny that, you know, you talk about, you know, the younger kids, is because over at the company that I do this for, and everything, there's some kids that come down from Kansas City, Missouri,
Mm-hmm.
and they are always sitting right there with me, watching and learning this.
Mm-hmm.
They have even taken this that I've like learned from up there.
Mm-hmm.
I've passed it on to them, and they're using it up in Kansas City at their show.
Right.
So I'm passing all this knowledge off, and they're like, our shows used to do the same thing like this one, where it used to end at like 11, 12 o'clock at night. And they're like, we're ending at a decent time. We're getting more fans in the building, and our old fans are happy because they're not sitting there for 5 hours.
Yeah.
So you got to be mindful of time, because here's the thing. Much like in real life, we ain't got much time.
Yeah.
It needs to be just like money, and we have to spend our time wisely.
Yep.
These fans are investing not only their money, but their time to be entertained. It's just like anything else in life right now, that they're only going to be here about that long.
Yeah.
And we got to hold them there.
Yeah.
So we got to end it just like that.
Yeah, we got to end it on time. And on that note, we got about 5 minutes left, Billy. So we got to take this home. we got to take it home, baby. We got to take it home. So I'm gonna add one thing that I do with everybody towards the end of the show. It's kind of like a wind down, simmer time, and give everybody some words of advice, whether they're wanting to get into the wrestling business or through life, through your travels through life, through what you're doing now, your journey. Give them some hope and inspiration like only Farmer Billy Hills can do, even though that you don't know how to farm. You lying prick.
So the biggest things that I want to pass down to people, wrestlers, just in general, is hold yourself accountable. Spend your time wisely with loved ones, anybody you hold dear to yourself. Love everybody. Treat everybody equally, or at least treat people how you would like to be treated. If you like to be treated like shit, then, that's fine, I guess, but that sucks to be you. But yeah, man, just hold yourself accountable every day to make sure that you're better than the day before, and that you're leaving a positive experience, not only on your own life, but for the next person that's watching you, because everybody's watching you right now in this day and age. Yeah. Spend your time, the little bit of time we have left on this earth, spend it wisely, and love one another. Color don't matter. None of it matters. Just love one another, please, for the love of God. And if you just can't love somebody else, then just love yourself.
Yeah.
But guess what? If you start loving yourself, you might start loving others too.
Yeah. And on that note, you guys, like I always say, every morning that you wake up, I'm gonna beat this home, and I'm gonna beat this into your guys' heads. One day you guys will get it, and one day you guys will understand my mode of thinking and the way that I run my life. Every day that you wake up is going to be a fight, no matter what it is, no matter if you're black, gay, straight, whatever. Every day is a fight for everybody, for every man, woman, and child. And there's nobody that can stop you from what you're doing more than you can stop yourself from doing what you want to do in your life and finding your happiness. Because overall, you guys, it doesn't matter if it's the police, if it's the government, if it's Billy Hills, if it's me, if it's your mom, or it's your dad. None of what those people say, none of what we say matters if you're not happy within yourself, because that's where it really matters. You got to fight yourself every morning. And when I wake up every morning and I fight myself 10 toes down, Duke's up in the air and I'm ready to fight myself because I realized so many years ago that I am the only person that can stop me. Nobody can stop me but me. And I do it every day. Some days I'm better than others. Some days I'm not. But I love you guys and I respect you guys and I thank you guys for stopping by. And I'm pretty sure Billy does too.
100%. Thank you for listening. Appreciate you.
Thank you for listening, everybody. Now, while I'm tailing this down, I have a hard time letting go of people sometimes. But you know what, you motherfuckers? I might have to let you go. And I'm going to let you go with this. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. And I thank you guys for stopping by. Go to www.jasonstatic.com and check out all the cool shit that I have there. And if you can't do that, if you can't buy anything because you're too poor and broke, just like me, then share the link out for me because that helps me out more than anybody or more than anything. Also, share this podcast out with me and Billy Hills because guess what? That helps me out more than anybody. The more eyes that can see me, the more that we can change the world, baby.
Yeah.
Other than that, you bunch of assholes, I love you. And I thank you guys for stopping by one more time on the Jaysin Static Experience. Motherfuckers. Be happy with everybody. And go join the Thumbs Down crew, you bunch of bitches.